Hi, this is Brian Wickland with Garfinkel Schwartz. I'm here in our Maitland, Florida office today. We also have an office in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Our practice here at Garfinkel Schwartz focuses on the Defense-Based Act and Longshore Act. Those are both federal laws. The Defense-Based Act applies to overseas contractors that are civilian contractors that are under contract with the government in various different conflict zones. Usually the most common ones are Iraq and Afghanistan right now. But I'm here, we've done a lot of research here at Garfinkel Schwartz to help our clients, especially potential clients that haven't gone overseas yet, that may be going to some conflict zones that may be popping up in 2017. So what we did was we set up a little summary of each conflict zone, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about them so that you understand what you may be getting into and what the U.S. involvement may or may not be up, including in the beginning of 2017. So actually, the first one that I'd like to talk about is Syria. And you can always look at these on our global conflict tracker, which is online. But what we did was we kind of did maybe like a news type summary just to get people familiar with what may happen in 2017. So Syria is a very violent, very complicated and perplexing country. It's a very old country, one of the oldest in the world. It's very hot right now in terms of conflict, so that's why it's number one on my list to talk to you about. Why is the U.S. in Syria, and why do we have an interest in Syria? Ultimately, in our opinion, it's not because of oil. Rather, there's so many countries that want to control Syria, and there are many parties involved in the war surrounding control of the country of Syria, which is led by President Bashar al-Assad. Syria is important militarily because of its location. It's very close to Turkey, Jordan, Lebanon, Israel, Iran, and Iraq. The Middle East is the world's leading source of oil production. Therefore, countries including Syria make it a very sensitive and affluent point of foreign contention. Internally in Syria, there's a civil war with multiple sides, religious, tribal, and others who are fighting for control of Syria. Initially, the civil war in Syria began as a protest against the Syrian government in 2011, after children were arrested and allegedly tortured for anti-Assad graffiti. The U.S. asked for Assad to step down. He did not, and in July 2014, he was actually sworn in for another 7 years in the first disputed election in the country's history. The root of the Syrian civil war is over claims of high unemployment and poverty, corruption, oppression, and this is all caused by the government led by al-Assad and its excessive government control over elections. Aleppo is the largest city in Syria, and it was a formerly thriving economic metropolis, and it's since been destroyed by continuous bombings. Aleppo is the prize for all the forces fighting in Syria. At issue is the old regime taking back control of Aleppo and the way that it is governed before, versus a new, untried, and unknown force taking over in Aleppo. Recapturing Aleppo would be a military, economic, and overall psychological feat, adding to the Syrian government's legitimacy, or, if the rebels win, their legitimacy fighting for it. Adding to the problem of rural rebels battling Assad's more urban government is ISIS and ISIL. ISIL is the Islamic State of Iraq in Syria, aka the Islamic State of Iraq in Levant. The Islamic extremist group kills anyone that is against their beliefs. ISIS and ISIL have seized control of large regions of Iraq, Syria, the Middle East, and Northern Africa. ISIS/ISIL entered the fight against Assad and against the rebels fighting Assad in Syria in 2014. Yes, this means Assad is not only fighting several groups of rebels, but it's also fighting ISIS and ISIL. The rebels are not only fighting Assad's government, but they're also fighting ISIS and ISIL as well. More chaos and confusion ensues because of forces supporting by external governments like Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, and us, the U.S. Russia is a close ally of Assad's and began an airstrike campaign in 2015 to hit terrorists, but instead Russia is accused of hitting Western-backed rebels. Russia originally supported Syrian President Assad because of a Russian need to protect a nearby military base. Iran Another Assad ally is believed to be a massive financial support to the Shia. On the opposite side is Iran's rival, Saudi Arabia, believed to be supporting the Sunni-based rebels who are fighting against Assad's government. Aleppo is a predominantly Sunni-populated city. Another two parties are involved. Turkey, which supports the rebels fighting versus Assad's government. But Turkey is opposed to the US-backed Kurdish fighters who are also battling ISIS and ISIL, believing that some of the Kurds are members of a banned Turkish political party. The US does not support Assad, and so now there are increased tensions between the US and Russia, though both want to defeat ISIS and ISIL forces as well. The US has been concerned about the 4.8 million refugees who fled Syria, as well as the tens of thousands who are still stranded and starving and trapped inside the country. Efforts to deliver aid to them have been cut off repeatedly by ISIS. It's a complex and horrible conflict, and without an enforceable ceasefire, fierce fighting in Syria continues throughout the country. Reports from world news sources state that ISIS has between 20,000 and 31,500 troops there. The U.S. has admitted to having only 300 special operations forces in Syria. However, this tension may increase exponentially next year. So no matter where you travel in the world, whatever assignments you take on, take the time to get to know a Defense-Based Act attorney before you go. Hopefully it'll be an experienced attorney. If it's not me, hopefully you can find someone else that has the experience to fight for you and your family against the insurance company, and it has the knowledge of the different conflicts in the world so they understand exactly what you're involved in and what you're seeing. We expect the best, but we have to plan ahead and to take care of our clients, especially potential clients that are going into these types of zones, including Syria. There's never a charge to talk to me. There's never a charge to call. In fact, if you do get injured and you call a defense-based attorney, including me, the fees are covered by the insurance company ultimately at the end of the day if any benefits are gotten for you that have been denied, which means that the attorney's fees, there's no percentage, there's no hourly rate for you. The lawyer fees at the end of the case are paid completely separately. They also have to be approved by the Department of Labor, which means that my hourly rate is set across the country, wherever I go, and I have to abide by that, and then whatever legitimate hours I have undertaken on your behalf. So it could never hurt to call me even before you go, so I can help you prepare for what lies ahead. Be safe. Call me when you need me, or email me anytime. Check out our website, and I appreciate your time. And again, this is Brian Wicklund. I'm lead counsel at Garfinkel Schwartz here in Maitland, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando. Good luck. Take care.